Hey gang, we are in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, LA area, and we're at Green Hill Memorial Park here. Beautiful, well-kept cemetery in the LA area, and we're here to see the grave of a little boy. Very sad story. Shout out to Nolan 3089 for suggesting the story. I never heard of it, but it's a famous picture that was taken back in 1954, and it won a Pulitzer Prize. And it was an emotional picture that was captured. We're at the Babyland section here, and if you look in from above, this is a big heart, and all the little ones are buried here. So many flowers, so many graves, and you know, I'm not going to walk across this. There's really, you know, I talk about trying not to step on graves. Inevitably step on graves, any cemetery, especially all the unmarked. But here, we're just going to walk along the road here to a little boy's grave. His name, Michael Lewis McDonald. So the story is, it was April 2nd, 1954. There was a Los Angeles Times photographer. His name was John Gaunt. Now, he went by the name Jack, just like John F. Kennedy, Jack Kennedy. He worked primarily as the night news photographer. He'd come at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and he'd stay past midnight. He loved the idea of covering emergency stories, fires, things like that. So he's kind of a nighttime shift. Well, the fateful day, there's a tragedy that happened with the little boy that I was describing. And he was sitting there by the beach at his house, and he heard somebody, and they said, "Hey, something's going on at the beach. They're shouting, something's going on." And all you could really see was there was a husband and wife standing right at the surf. Now, the surf was crashing. It was really high, huge waves coming in, and they weren't dressed in bathing suits. They were, you know, dad with a dress shirt and black pants, mom the dress, and they were clutching each other, and they were going into the surf and back. What do we do? They were panicked. And John instinctively just started snapping pictures. You know, being a photographer, he didn't know. He would later come to find out that this couple was looking out over the surf, and their little one, I think he was 18 months old, had somehow gotten away from them. I think they were vacationing, or I don't know if they were living there or vacationing, but they had a yard and the beachfront, and the little boy got away, and he got into the surf, and the surf swallowed him up and took him out. Horrible. Well, he captured this image, and kind of like the image on Iwo Jima of the soldiers planting the flag, it became almost not that iconic, but it was kind of like that moment. And you know, guy became famous, and the picture, it's unbelievable. Like, you could stare at this picture, and it's just unbelievable. You can just imagine the anguish that these parents had. This poor little boy. They found him later in the day, about a mile away, down the beach. They found his body, and he's buried here in Babyland. Very, very tragic. It bothered John. He had a 3-year-old at home, and I think it probably bothered him the rest of his life, you'd have to imagine. His daughter recalled in John's obituary when he had passed that the image was hard for him to bear at first. She noted about the child. John lived locally. He didn't know the McDonalds, but he knew people that knew him. He was pretty close to the situation, obviously living right there. So right here is little Michael's grave. We'll just kind of edge over here. And right here. So this is the grave of little Michael McDonald, who didn't make it to 2 years old. John had passed away in 1987. He was 66 years old. And Lillian later remarried. She just passed away recently, a couple of years ago. March of 2021, Lillian was 97 years old. They're buried here in the cemetery in the Vista del Puente section, and they are all reunited now. And here lies little Michael McDonald with all the children. God took you out to sea, my little man, and he decided to keep you. Michael McDonald, rest in peace. Hopefully you're reunited with your family. Rest in peace to the McDonalds.